there are 3 bits of psychology behind why you should follow your gut instinct, my first early answer, and make the decision about whether or not it's right for you to quit uni, or for that matter, quit whatever it is that you want to quit. Morning world, morning walk, episode 26. Morning dog. Nice morning. Changing of the seasons again in Sydney. This time on the other side, going from kind of cold winter into summertime. Not even summer yet, spring. Some of the local flowers and everything are starting to bloom. So those beautiful seasons, and maybe you can just hear that in the background, a little bit of bird song. It's kind of this lovely moment where, as the sun comes up at this time of year, the birds start making one heck of a racket. I think most people don't actually know that about Australia, about Sydney in particular. As the birds at dawn kind of go a little bit crazy. Anyway, that's not the point of today. It's just about enjoying this walk, and actually been thinking about this interesting topic, which is like, when is the right time to quit university? Don't know why I woke up with that on my mind this morning, but there you go. And I guess there's like a long answer to this and a short answer to it. So probably good practice to start with the short answer. And that's pretty much like, you know in your guts when it's time to quit university. And for that matter, when it's time to quit just about anything, you know it in your guts, and you should sort of follow that instinct. So before going any further and talking about the details, when you think about, should I actually quit this thing, or should I quit university and go and do something else? Like, if you're already having that hesitation, you know, and it's only you that knows, because there's so many external pressures in our lives, our parents, our friends, other things like that, that basically like stop us from listening to our intuition. But your intuition is there for a reason, and it's often right. Well, let's talk about why. The first reason why our intuition is often right is because our brains can essentially only process so much information. And psychologists have famously done some pretty awesome studies around this. One of the earlier ones was this experiment where they got bookmakers, so the people who set the odds for horse racing and gamblers, to estimate the likelihood of particular horses winning a race. And what they looked at was 2 different groups of bookmakers, some to whom they gave like heaps of information, like 40 pieces of information, and some to whom they gave less information. And essentially they looked at the likelihood of those bookmakers getting the outcome of a race right. Now, the good news was that the bookmakers were more right on average than you or I. But what the psychologists found was that they got no more accurate in terms of their predictions after a certain quantity of information. I don't remember the exact number, but let's say after they got like 7 or 10 pieces of information, they got no more accurate in terms of their predictions than if they got, say, like 30 or 40 pieces of information. And when I talk about information, you know, it could be things like, you know, the condition of the horse, how well it had done recently, its results, those sorts of things. You know, whether the jockey had been sick the week before, who knows. So basically, like, the more information we get, we kind of hit this ceiling in terms of the amount of information that we can process and the amount of information that's actually useful when it comes to making decisions. The problem's even more challenging though, because whilst their accuracy didn't improve the more information they got, their confidence in the result actually did. So basically, like, these bookmakers who got given more information were no more accurate in terms of predicting the outcomes of a race, but they thought they were a lot more accurate. So they thought they were going to get the result right much more often. So it's this thing that the more information we have, we kind of feel like, you know, we're more informed and our decision is more correct. but in fact that's our confidence that's improved rather than our ability to actually make a really good decision. So basically, if your gut's telling you something, even if it's based on really limited information, chances are, like, it's probably right and you should listen to it. That's number one. This is kind of neat. I'm gonna go check out the skateboard ramp. You know, I've been walking past this thing for years now. Never actually had a good look up close. Off the wall. Hey Pixie, you going off the wall? That'd go viral on YouTube. Man throws golden retriever off the wall on a skateboard ramp. Right, Pixie, yeah, you would not be very happy with me in that situation, would you? I wouldn't do that to you. Never, never. The second reason that psychology tells us that we should probably follow our gut instinct in these kinds of situations is something that's called the sunk cost fallacy. Well, basically like this idea that you shouldn't throw good money after bad. And essentially, the idea goes that we get convinced that because we've put money into something, that maybe we should just put a little bit more in just to get that thing done. And university is absolutely no different, right? Like, maybe you've committed like 2 or 3 years to a degree, and you're looking at that time that you've already invested and you're saying, well, gee, you know, like another 6 months or another year or another 2 years and I'll get this thing done. But it's called the sunk cost fallacy because we've already sunk that cost, that time, into, you know, doing something that maybe isn't the right channel. And so by investing more time, more money, more effort, whatever it is, into finishing something off, you're actually ending up doing yourself a disservice because you're wasting time. And time's like the only thing you don't get back. So, you know in your heart if you're throwing good money after bad, and stop doing it. And the last one is that, you know, our brains are constantly wanting to make things easier for us. I mean, if you just stop and like look around and process what's going on, there's like thousands of birds back there going crazy. You've got like all of this light and beautiful colors and the air around and the complexity of the shapes and, you know, dog over there running around. It's like there are literally millions of things going on around us all the time. And our brains basically look for the most simple way to filter out the information that we're either already familiar with and we know how to process, or the things that kind of, it thinks aren't relevant. And so as a result, basically what happens is, you know, we like to shortcut. Once we get into the habit of something, into a routine, we don't like to break it. And that's because the world is so complex. It's infinitely complex, and there's infinite like sensory inputs like every second of every single day. And so the hard thing you have to think about is, to what extent am I like in a routine and I'm avoiding making things harder for myself? So yeah, when things are constant and easy and consistent, you know, it's easier to stick to them. It's more comfortable for us, and it's more comfortable for our brain. But, you know, I always like to say that, you know, you can't mix up comfort and contentment. So sometimes you got to overcome that resistance, push outside your comfort zone in order to like really do the right thing by yourself. Your brain doesn't like being too much overloaded. So there are 3 bits of psychology behind why you should follow your gut instinct, my first early answer, and make the decision about whether or not it's right for you to quit uni, or for that matter, quit whatever it is that you want to quit. Number 1 is this idea that you can have too much information. We only need like a limited amount of information to make decisions that are fundamentally accurate. Number 2 is like this idea of sunk cost fallacy, that you shouldn't throw good money after bad ever, but we're almost psychologically compelled to do so. And number 3, like our brains want to make things easy for us. They want things to be consistent and not complicated and repetitive to some extent, because it makes it easier to process the complexity of the world. So You know what? I'm gonna check this out. I've been walking past these baseball fields for years. Actually never stood on a real baseball field before. Let's do this. Sorry, Pixie, no baseball for you. Oh, I'm a funny dog. You can hear all those birds going nuts in the background. Cockatoos and galahs and rainbow lorikeets. It's an incredible time of year. But I think that's the thing, is like sometimes you can be standing, stepping up to a moment, staring down the barrel of someone about to chuck a ball at your head, not knowing what the right thing to do is. Gotta follow your instinct, follow your guts. For real. Anyway, handful of thoughts. Hope you're having a good day, whatever you're doing. I'll see you next time on the morning walk.